This next tune is called Imaginary Conversation Between Bjork and Buddy Guy.
That was better.
Yeah.
It's getting shorter and shorter.
Well, that, folks, is Bees Deluxe. So first, let's let the band introduce themselves.
Well, I'm Carol Band, and I'm from Arlington.
Alan Dorr from Watertown.
I'm Paul Jovine. I'm from Framingham.
I'm Conrad War from Jamaica Plain.
All right. Well, it is always fun to have Bees Deluxe into our studio. They are usually here for Blues Apocalypse, which happens. It's a fundraiser for the Arlington Center for the Arts that happens in the spring, and they put the fun back in fundraiser with that. And we always enjoy having the band in for that purpose. But we've got a new reason to be listening and to be talking to the band today. And that's that they are about to go out on tour, and of course they're a band, so going out on tour isn't news in and of itself, but this is a particularly interesting tour. It's called Flippin' the Blues, and I wonder what that means. So which one of you wants to explain where Flippin' the Blues comes from?
All this political talk this year, we were thinking, wow, we play the blues in all these states, all these red states and these contested districts, they're all trying to flip their red states to blue. And I thought, flippin' for the blues, flippin' to blues, flippin', we should do something. We should go on tour and help out the candidates. So it sounded like a really easy idea. I said, wow, okay, we'll do that. But it's been a full-time job since July when we first brainstormed this idea. And now we're about to leave. We'll leave on October 13th. And we strike out on the road. So.
Yeah, so I will talk about the dates and the destinations shortly, but explain again a little bit about just how you mean to flip the blues in this particular case.
Well, the idea is that we play the blues, specifically acid blues, and we'll tell you about that later. But we play the blues, and so our idea was that we would go and travel and donate our time and our talent and do free concerts at venues that we're going to plea for them to donate with local musicians, which we've cajoled into also playing for free. And the candidate will take the take. They'll be able to sell tickets at whatever price they want and make money that way, and also get out the vote and raise awareness. And
okay, so in other words, you'll be not only heading through red states or red
deepest,
portions
darkest
of states,
red states,
right? but stumping for or playing for Democratic candidates, I assume. Or
that's correct. Or organizations like Indivisible and Democratic town committees and state committees and things like that, but primarily candidates.
So
we've got a rented van.
Is that right? Yes. Well, let's
magnetic
talk about
sticker.
that in a second. But yeah, I'm looking at a bunch of radicals here, obviously. So I know that you've got. First of all, I've got several questions about the nature of the tour. One of them, I noticed you've got 8 dates lined up at least, and that's going to take you New York, Western New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and then
as far as Cleveland, yeah,
and then wrapping back to Brooklyn. I know near the end. So first of all, I believe you've got 7 shows and 7 nights. In 7 different places.
That sounds right.
If I read your itinerary correctly.
And
I'm daunted by that. I don't know how you guys feel.
Yeah,
we've got requests in the can for us to do more if we can slot them in after or before or in between.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's adding up.
So people are hearing about this,
Yep.
and there's demand for more of it. Obviously, it's an intriguing idea. But I'm going to venture into, I don't know, maybe non-PC territory and say that I think you guys are of my generation. as it turns out. So what are you thinking about the idea of jumping in a van together and, again, hitting the road miles and miles every day and then playing every night, like I know some 20-somethings that do, but that's not us anymore. So tell us about what you're looking forward to and maybe what you're worried about.
Well, we've all done it in the past. And we're used to living on cold pizza and sleeping on the floor of the van so nobody steals our equipment. But this time, local Democrat candidates have offered us places to stay. My only fear is the laundry. Because after about 2 days, we start to get rank. So we've got to find a laundromat
Speak
somewhere
for
on the
yourself.
Well, if it's as hot in some of the venues as it is in here today, then
Yeah.
I think you guys are going to be needing to worry about the laundry, as it turns out. But yeah, you were saying that the Democratic candidates themselves are going to be putting you up, and
Well,
obviously
they're workors. They're campaign workers as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
way. We're
So
going
I
to
mean,
couch surf across the Midwest.
right, and again, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm wondering, are you meeting people for the first time through this effort?
Absolutely,
who
yeah.
are running in these different places? Are you finding out information about candidates that you wouldn't otherwise
Definitely.
Oh yeah, and people will tip us off too and say, well, gee, have you talked to so and so? And then we will, like Dana Balter in Syracuse. We didn't know anything about her, and the Democrats said, well, you really should check her out, and we did, and she's been endorsed by Obama, and
the gold standard.
yeah, the Good Housekeeping seal of approval.
Yeah. And are you? What about the set itself? Have you been working on new stuff for this particular tour? What could people
I
expect
think
to
Aldo's
hear?
going to compose a song, right? Aren't you going to compose a Flippin' for the Blues Blues?
Yeah, we've talked about that. It isn't coming along very well so far. But,
We can improvise.
well,
Plenty of time, I'm sure.
we're going to have a lot of time between venues, about an average of 250 to 300 miles between each stop. So we'll have plenty of time to talk about this and compose some things.
At some places we stop, we've asked local bands to come and join us. And sometimes they go, well, we can play, but we haven't got a drummer that night. So Paul's going to drum for them. And the next night, Aldo may have to play bass for Dana Gaynor and Brian Brazil. So it'll be a mishmash. And we've also got in touch with the local blues societies who've sort of volunteered to help and man the door and bring us other bands. So we're going to meet a lot of musicians we would not have met otherwise.
Yeah, so obviously this is interesting enough and fun enough as far as I'm concerned, but the real fun starts in another week and a half or
Right.
so. And how are you guys planning on chronicling your own experience and sharing it with the rest of us who are interested? Do you have
Well,
any plans?
We have a blog, so we'll be blogging. That's what people do. We had a Kickstarter campaign to pay for our rental van, and that was pretty successful. And so as a result, all those donors, a lot of them signed up to get postcards. So we'll be posting postcards to all our supporters along the way as well.
And do you have friends or loved ones who are going to be joining you for any portion of the festivities? Or
We hope not. No, no. We're gonna when we come to Brooklyn, it's going to be a big
Yeah.
party, and I think our folks will come down and join us. And we're playing with another band that's friends as well.
Mhm. And obviously, there are a lot of people out there. To be serious for a second, there's a lot of people out there who are looking for ways to do something, right, with their energy, with their anxiety, with their concerns about what's going on out there, and with the midterm elections coming up in just over a month. How are you guys feeling like this is a great way to combine your passions for again getting something done as well as making music?
For us, it was kind of a no-brainer. Right? I mean, we felt like it was a good fit. It felt like, of course, we should be doing that.
I think a really difficult thing is if you're from Massachusetts, you're from one of the bluest states in the country, and you sit here and you just fester, you get frustrated, and you try to think, what can I do? I can't go vote anywhere else, but here's something we could do. I mean, I'm not the biggest political activist, but Carol's idea was great, and it gets us into other states to try to influence other people and stir things up a little bit. So.
Yeah, and actually, speaking about stirring things up a little bit, I'm curious about whether you have any plans, whether you're open to the idea of engaging with let's say with red state natives, with people, with opposing or at least contrasting political ideas. Do you expect that that's going to be part of your whole experience?
Definitely. Some of the venues we talked to said, oh, we can't do that here, we'll lose 50% of our customers. And then we've said to them, that's exactly why we should play there. Because if we can tip one of them over to the other side, then that was the reason we went there. So we'll be playing at both camps.
Right, and music is music, right?
Yeah.
One assumes that among many others is a common denominator that everybody's going to be able to appreciate and take part in, etc.
Yeah, but interestingly, I've found that some blues societies across America are on the other side of the needle. And you go, that's kind of a contradiction in terms, because this is African American music that made its way to Chicago in the middle of the 20th century, and now they're voting on the other side. So that was kind of a shock to me.
Well, it seems like counterintuitive realities are kind of the meme of our existence at the moment. So maybe you guys are going to have your own direct experience of that kind of cognitive dissonance that seems to be everywhere at this point in the country. So I'm just wondering whether you want to, not whether you want to, I'm going to ask you, why don't you share the information that people should know in terms of being able to follow you? Where's the blog at? Where can they find out where you're playing and keep up with what's going on?
Well, thanks to Conrad, we have a very nice website, and the address is www.flippinfortheblues.com. So Flippin' for the Blues, Google it, and you'll come right up to our website. There's an events pull down where you can see the whole itinerary, and the blog is there as well. And we also have a Facebook page. Like us on Facebook.
that just rolls right off your tongue, Carol. I can tell that you're generationally perfectly placed for this moment as well. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys very much for coming on in. It has been super fun to listen to you. Do you have any little short piece that you want to go out with?
Okay. Yeah, we'll play something quick.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So one more time, I'm James Milan at ACMi. This is Bees Deluxe, and we're going to be going out with some more tunes in their own special style. Enjoy.
Got me crying for the love that I need. Begging like a dog for a bone. Well, I spend all of my time grieving. You turn your back and one of these days, Lord knows it's still true. Just when you need me the most, I'm gonna walk out on you. And you'll say, as you're begging down on your knees, I wouldn't treat a dog the way you treated me. I wouldn't treat a dog. I wouldn't treat a dog. I wouldn't treat a dog the way you treated me.